So many people responded in such an amazing way to it. They expected to have, I think, 500 people over the 2 days.
Yeah.
And they reached that quota in the first afternoon of opening the clinic.
That's good, so there's a need.
Yeah,
there's a real
huge
need there.
need.
And it's not just women, of course, we've got to get the men on side as well. Very important.
That's a huge part of it, because the men obviously have their own opinions about contraception and what it means for a woman to be using it. And if you can get them on board, they hold a lot of control in the whole of Africa, actually. So you need to get them on your side.
Sure. No, that makes sense. It's about giving women choices, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
It's choices and opportunity.
Exactly.
And that's so important, as well as education, of course.
Yes. Well, this is the thing. If the women have choice, then they can choose when to have children. They can be mentally, physically and financially ready to have children. And also, you know, they can stay in school. A lot of the girls are getting pregnant at 14 and having to leave school because they can no longer attend or afford to attend. And it's just about trying to get in there early and give these people as much opportunity as they can have to have the best life.
Exactly, and you've got 2 wee boys, and you've got a lovely life, as most of us have here in the UK. We're very lucky, and it does kind of make you realise, oh, they're gorgeous. It does make you realise how lucky we are when you go to somewhere like that and you see that people don't have, you know, women don't have choice. It's frustrating, but at the same time, at least work's being done.
Absolutely. I often feel very lucky and privileged, and I really am in a position where, you know, I can look after my children and provide for them, which I had a child very young at 17, and I didn't know what my options were at that point, but I always had a choice whether, you know, to continue the pregnancy, whether it would be, you know, to get help afterwards when I had the baby and counselling, and there were always choices for me. And to think that there are so many people out there without that choice is a really hard thing to actually, you know, acknowledge and come to terms with.
Absolutely. I know one of the things that I think is fantastic that you're highlighting is this crazy pressure that we put on ourselves, and it really makes it so ridiculous when you go to somewhere like Africa and you see how, you know, people are just trying desperately to go on with their lives and living hand to mouth, and then we've got this crazy situation here where especially our young girls feel absolutely inundated with all these images of perfection, which aren't perfect at all. It's all nonsense. All this airbrushing and filtering, and it drives me crazy.
It is ridiculous. It's something that I feel really passionate about, and I know that you do as well, Lorraine, because I do think that we, like you said, when you go to a place like Africa and you see how people are just struggling to survive, you realise how menial some of the problems that, you know, you think you have really are. And also, even putting that aside, I worry so much about the next generation of girls and boys.
So do I.
About how they're going to feel inside, because everything they see is absolute perfection. Everything is almost CGI. It feels like we're living in a cartoon world. Like I cannot tell the difference between what is real and what's not real anymore. And I think that if I can do anything to kind of highlight those issues and maybe say to young people, this is what I look like without makeup.
See, I liked when you did that, when you showed a photo of you airbrushed and then not airbrushed, and you looked fantastic in both of them.
Oh, thank you.
But it shows you there. Everybody's got those little bits at the back of their bikini that everybody
I know,
has.
I love them as well.
Unless, you know, unless you're ill, that's what you have. But it just shows you what you can do, and people taking away all their flaws. Our flaws are what make us human beings.
And imagine also, and when you look at the picture to the right, imagine seeing that constantly, because that is the look that we see constantly. You don't see any rolls and you don't see any, you know, normal creases in the body. You're going to look in the mirror and think, well, what's wrong with me? When there actually is absolutely nothing wrong with you, and it really isn't the right message we should be sending out.
We've got to be realistic, you've got to be authentic, and we shouldn't be selling young women and young men alive.
No.
Which is essentially what's happening.
Exactly.
And it drives me crazy.
I know.
It does drive me crazy. On a much more positive note, how are you and Joe? Are you good?
Oh, we're really good,
thank you. Are you ever going to get married, you two? You have no time?
You know me, Lorraine. I joke about this all the time. Obviously, I would love to get married one day, but we're really happy as we are.
You're happy as you are?
Yeah, we're really happy, and he's wonderful, and we've both got children, so we just want to make sure that everybody in our collective family are really happy before we move forward.
Because it's boys, it's all boys you've got, isn't it?
We've got a herd of boys. I'm surrounded by testosterone.
You're surrounded by men. Oh, geez, it must be good, but at the same time,
but
lots of washing. lots
they
of washing.
stink.
I know, they do. Stacey, thank you, and thank you for highlighting what's happening in Uganda. We'll put all that in our website.
Thank you for having me.
Sport Relief do such a great job.
Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Thank you.